Hey, I see what you're doing. Put that down or you're going to get hurt. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to this celebratory shindig thing for Kickstarter. I figured we should do something after, some very epic music playing in the background. That is from Batman the Animated Series, appropriately enough. I figured, it'd be a really good idea if I gave as many people who participated in the Kickstarter and some who probably didn't, all a chance to kind of collect together in the same virtual space. And you guys could chat, and I could kind of moderate, and you guys could maybe get to know a little bit of who your fellow backers are, because there's a little bit of a community thing going on here. I think, right? That's part of what attracted me to doing the funding for this movie in this way, was the idea of there being a community of people who all appreciate the same subject matter coming together and saying, we want to see this thing happen. And that's part of what I love about Kickstarter, as opposed to just having some private investor just say, like, here's a check. I mean, that would have been arguably less stressful and less time consuming. But now that I think about it, maybe I should just do that in the future. No, I'm kidding. But obviously that would have been a very different result. And I do think that all of us coming through this 30-day period together, it kind of binds people together in a certain way, similar to when people are living through some extreme environmental trauma, like a giant avalanche, and you make it out alive with one or two other people. Is it Stockholm syndrome, or I don't know? There's a name for it. So, hey everybody. So let's see. Tonight, what are we going to do tonight? Well, I had a couple ideas in mind. I just wanted to let you guys know, first and foremost, before I talk about anything future-oriented, let's just appreciate all of the effort that you guys put in. Because the reality is, I can talk till I'm blue in the face, and I can put as many ads as I want out there, but there does have to be this other piece where there are people who see that and say, yes, I like the cut of your giblets, sir, and they say, I'm going to be in on this. And so thank you. The beginning part of this show tonight. I just want to say thank you to everybody who, some of you who weren't even Batman fans. I've had people reach out to me and say things like, hey, I'm not even really the biggest Batman fan, or I haven't even really watched much of the animated series. And that's incredible to me that you still wanted to be a part of this. So thank you for that. Thank you for to all my share warriors. You know who you are. I will call out a couple of you specifically. Like I will say, Andy Shaggy Cordy was arguably one of the most sherry of share warriors that they're ever shared. So thank you so much to Andy and to everybody else who made daily shares a thing. Helen on Twitter was a big share warrior. Tabitha was a big share warrior. So there's a number of you guys that took it upon yourselves. Some of you, I'm pretty sure, daily made it a point to take anything that I posted, because I was posting every day for over 30 days. But some of you guys took it upon yourselves to take that content and you shared it too. And that blows me away. And I'm very dealing with cat hair tonight. I'm sorry. Like the cold winter environment creates a lot of static, and when you have cats and they're static, the cat hair is just annoying beyond usual means of being annoying. So let's take a look at some of the comments you guys are putting, and then we'll go forward from there. We got somebody saying, we did it. This is the No Good Nick. Yes. And thank you for the congratulatory messages, No Good Nick. We got some hearts from Amber. Thank you so much. We got Andy saying, sup, dude. Stevie saying hi, waving hello. We got Allison saying, let's do this. Thank you guys for the hearts and the thumbs up. Let's see. Andy says, I'm here to share, and then I'm jumping over to YouTube to help out there. Awesome. Thanks, man. Brit's here. She says, dude. Chris Trotter's here. Thank you, Chris, for the kind words. Much appreciated. Tabitha's here. Let's see. Jen Quinn is here. I can't believe it's happening. Jen Quinn, you know, there are moments where I was wondering if it was going to happen. Maybe someday I'll tell the story publicly, but it was about 2 weeks ago where there was a special weekend where things just started crumbling behind the scenes. Most of you don't know this, and I won't go into it right now, but I will tell you that there was a point in time a couple weeks ago where I was seriously thinking, holy crap, what am I going to do now? Because I didn't know what was going to happen. Chris says, you were referring to trauma bonding, and yes, I was referring to trauma bonding. Hey there, Andy again. He says, Phil came through like a true superhero, just barely, and with great amounts of anguish and strain. That is exactly how it felt, Andy. Hey, Carl. Carl says, so glad you met your goal. Always enjoy your projects. Thank you. That to me is one of the most exciting things about this project, because I had some people ask me about last year's Kickstarter, and last year's Kickstarter, as some of you may know, was for a convention here in Austin, an animation convention, and it has been postponed, but not indefinitely. If you're wondering about that, the venue that I was working with still wants to work with me and still wants to have the event. So don't worry, it's not like it went completely away. It's just due to our current medical climate in this country, we have to sort of not have large groups of people collecting in the same enclosed space. But this project is very different, because at the end of this project, there will be a film, a movie that you can watch at home for free on your multiples of devices. And no matter where you are in the country, possibly even in the world, depending on how that works, you can watch the movie, and that's pretty great. Some of you even went above and beyond on the Kickstarter and threw in upwards of $500, which got your name, or will get your name, in the credits of the film. There weren't too many of those people, but there were some, and I think that's kind of cool, because you'll be able to see your name, and it's not going to be like a wall of names that no one will look at. You know what I mean? So that's going to be pretty exciting. Let's see. The No Good Nick says, good job, everybody. We made Phil proud. You guys certainly did. Thank you so much. You guys came through like champs. It means a lot to me, because unfortunately, at this point in my career, I'm still having to raise funding for stuff myself. Maybe that'll change once this movie comes out. I don't know. I can tell you that I don't particularly want to make fundraising a regular occurrence. It's not something that I necessarily desire to do more of. but the great thing is it happened and it worked. So I love it when a plan comes together, don't you? Yes. Let's see. We got Stevie saying, even if we are not a huge Batman fan, we are all Phil fans. Thank you, Stevie. That's a very sweet thing to say. Thank you. Taryn says, congrats, Phil. Hi, Taryn. Haven't seen you in a while. Shaggy's asking, how much snow do you have now there in Austin, Phil? We are getting pounded by Mr. Freeze, Captain Cold, and Killer Frost here in Indiana. Well, that's an excellent question, Andy. There probably, it looks to be somewhere between maybe 2 to 3 inches, I would say, depending on where we're looking. But I would say that's pretty much what it is. And it already started melting a couple hours ago out here, to the point where now the top layer of snow is kind of this crunchy ice stuff that your foot would like punch through if you were to walk on it. So probably another 24 hours of cold here in Austin, and then we're going to start seeing it warm up again. So this has been a really crazy time. Thank you for asking. A lot of people in Austin lost power. Thankfully, I was not one of them. The power did flicker yesterday, but did not go out. And yeah, so if you are able to put out some positive vibes and thoughts and prayers and stuff for the people that are dealing with power outages right now, I don't know if there's any kind of relief fund going for them. I'm sure there's something, but that there are problems here in Austin right now where generators were turned off to conserve power, and then they couldn't get back on again due to the freezing of those generators. So Shaggy says, I could have sold my kids for the $500 pledge level if I would in a heartbeat, but no one wants them. I tried already multiple times just today. That is not good. I can't get behind that, but that's very funny. Tabitha says, so proud of your tenacity. Thank you very much. As I keep telling people, I don't know the meaning of the word quit. No, seriously, what does it mean? And according to Stevie, she says we got 6 inches in Austin. Okay, so I guess I misjudged that. And yeah, and Britt says Andy's not kidding. We need some flamethrowers to help clear the roads here in Indiana. Right, there you go. So here's some things I wanted to bring up to you guys, because I'm sure you're wondering what's going to happen now, right? That was my first thought this morning when I woke up, which was, what do I do next? And then I started getting flooded in the brain with all the things I have to do, and it kind of overwhelmed me. And so now I'm going to have to start doing something that I don't tend to do, and that's make lists. I'm not a list maker traditionally. I typically will make a list on maybe like a text app on my phone or a text file on my computer, and I'll just kind of leave that list on my desktop as a reminder, because it's just, that's where I'm looking most of the time. It just makes more sense. It saves paper. But I do have my notebook full of Batman notes sitting next to me on my desk, and I've got it open to a blank page, and I do plan on using that for some notes. So I will probably be doing some note taking. But to answer the question that you didn't ask, that I asked for you, what is happening next? Well, I have 2 interviews for this movie under my belt already. They are recorded, partially edited, and on my my hard drive, or hard drives, I should say, because I do make backups. I'm working with one of the actually, let me just check my email real quick, and it looks like, yes, it's going to be, let me just reply to this person and I'll explain why here in just a moment. This will be on camera, business casual if possible, and via Zoom. Here's my direct number if you need to use it at any time. What am I doing right now, folks? Well, I am actually writing, as we speak, an email to my next interview for tomorrow. I am actually doing an interview tomorrow. So pretty flipping exciting. So I've got one set up for tomorrow, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, no, it is not Mark Hamill. Thank you for asking, Britt, but I will try to get Mark Hamill at some point. That's going to be, a thing. Let's see. Britt says, I'm good at making lists and not fully following them. Yes, that's exactly how I am as well. So I understand. And what is Shaggy saying? Not just Austin. Taylor Schroll of Fort Catholic Podcast, very, very funny podcast over in Bryan/College Station, was out of power for 11 hours. Yes, that is just northeast of me by about 45 minutes. So Texas is dealing with a lot of intense weather that we don't typically get down here. I've been saying it to everybody I talk to, and I'm going to continue to say it. We need to work on our infrastructure, everybody, because, sometimes bad stuff happens and you have to be ready for it. So I'll let you guys know if Mark Hamill decides to be an interview guest. But what I will tell you is, if you're wondering what's coming up next as far as that kind of stuff goes, and you want details, specific details, here's what I'm going to do to keep everybody updated. Everyone knows that I communicate stuff through social media, but did you know that I have other less social media based channels that I use? And I'm going to tell you about them right now and why I have several of them, because to me, it's important to be diversified. So number one, I have a free artist newsletter that you guys can sign up for. If you're not part of it already, I don't send things out too frequently, maybe just a couple times a month, unless there's something really big going on, and then I do increase that. So if you are interested in getting the free newsletter that I send out, all you have to do is go to my website, which is philmaki.com. And then in the menu bar, you'll see the word news. You should be able to figure it out from there. So that's how you get signed up for the newsletter. Number two, that Kickstarter page that you guys were so nice to contribute to has an updates section. I will continue to post updates to the Kickstarter page with like specific things about that. So in other words, if I'm going to be setting up something about, let's say, part of the merchandising, and I need you guys to know about it, I will go ahead and write an update, which if you have your email notifications turned on, you should get it directly that way. But I do make all of my updates on Kickstarter public. So if you don't get the emails, you can just check back every now and then. It's public. Just click on updates and you will see all of the updates that I list there. Number three is Patreon. Now, I actually put I transformed the Kickstarter page a little bit. And if you go there now, you'll see a big yellow button on the screen that says follow along. And if you click follow along, it'll take you to my Patreon page where you can follow, and you can do that for free. Yes, I'm aware Patreon is this, there's a little bit of a, stigma or concern about it because people, tend to pay for that. But I want you to know that you can follow my Patreon and it doesn't cost you a dime, okay? If one day you decide to become a paying patron, you can do that. And there are reasons to do that. There is different levels of stuff that I release depending on, how much you've paid into. But the reason why Patreon is there, that is an ongoing way that people support me and help me keep the lights on, which is really very much appreciated. But what I do there is I give more detailed information to my patrons. Sometimes I put out a personal a video just to the patrons that only they can see. Sometimes I'll tell them stuff way ahead of time before I tell anybody else. Other times I'll give them specifics. So for example, I just told you guys that I just wrote an email to my interview guest for tomorrow morning. I did not tell you who it was. I will tell people on Patreon. That's a part of the perks of being on Patreon. So there you go. So that's kind of the next step for me, is start to create my list of people that I will be interviewing. And then once I get all of the people who have already said yes to being in the film, the next step is to go and try to bring people who have not said yes yet and try to bring them in. Because I hope that the final list of people in the film, I'm hoping it's going to be larger than what I originally advertised. I couldn't tell you guys that or make that promise because I don't have any way of guaranteeing it. But I can guarantee you that I will try to bring other individuals in the project. Yes, I have already spoken with managers for some of the, we'll say, I don't want to say bigger names, but the names that people ask about more frequently. I have reached out to those people, and I am waiting to hear back from some of them. And so I'm just going to keep trying. And if anything really good happens, then I'll let you guys know about it. So that's definitely the next step. After that, the other thing I'm working on is creating a new virtual store section of my website, because somebody reached out to me not too long ago and they said, hey, Phil, I really want to help you out with this whole Kickstarter thing, but right now things are a little bit tight and I can't. Too bad you're not doing this for another 2 weeks. And I said, I wish there was a way I could help you with that and extend the campaign, but there's not a way to do that. Once you set a target with Kickstarter, a target dollar amount and a target date, they cannot be altered in any way. So I was doing some reading today. I was looking up Indiegogo. I think it's called Indiegogo In Demand. I was looking into that. I was looking into Shopify. What I'm probably going to end up doing, since I already have a website that I pay money for, I'm probably going to take a portion of my website and dedicate that to this this project. So if you saw something you really wanted and you did not get it for whatever reason, I'm going to set up the website so that you can still go and do that, and then you'll still be able to contribute to the film. There won't be any kind of target goal or anything, like no deadline. I'm just going to create like a mini store within my web store and have that just dedicated to this Batman film. That's my next step there. And then, of course, I'll start working on getting all the rewards mailed out to you guys. Right now, the goal to get this film created and put out there is to have it done by mid-April. I'm going to try my best to do that. As you know, though, movies do sometimes have little bumps in the road, and sometimes things get pushed back. So if you're wondering what the status of the film is at any time, like I said, I'm going to keep posting updates to the official Kickstarter page under the Updates tab. And if you're ever wondering if anything like, hey, why haven't heard from Phil in a while? What's going on? Just check back at that update section, and I'll make sure I keep that up to date. So there you go. Chris Trotter is saying, Colorado is cold and snowy, but it's winter, so that's kind of normal. Yeah, makes sense. Yep. Stevie says, I'm making a list and then taking a nap. Or do you mean right now, or just in general? I make a list and then take a nap. So just every time you make a list, it causes you to take a nap. Is that? Have you Pavloved dogged yourself into associating lists with naps? Because I could actually see that happening for me. The idea of a list makes me tired just thinking about it. So, Shaggy says, Chris, so that's what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what you're referring to, and something tells me I'm not sure I want to know. That sounds like it could be dangerous. So anyway, that's sort of the next steps I'm taking. This film does have an IMDb page. You can absolutely check out the IMDb page, and that will probably like adjust and grow as names get added, or sometimes taken away. Sometimes people have schedules that conflict and they can't end up being part of something. So don't be alarmed if you see names changing like that. It is part of the process. And rest assured, I'm doing everything I can to get as many names from the animated series into this film as I possibly can. That's definitely a thing. Let's see. What else am I forgetting anything else? Oh, well, for those of you that have HBO Max, I would like to let you know that Batman the Animated Series is, as of January of this year, it is streaming now on HBO Max. So if you haven't already watched the animated series, if somehow you let the early 90s pass you by, may I welcome you and encourage you to go and get a subscription to HBO Max and watch Batman the Animated Series. It'll probably give you a greater appreciation for the film that I am working on. People have been asking me if there's going to be animation like from me. I think that's what they were asking me in the film, or they've been asking me if I'm going to be in the film. And the answer to both of those questions is no. I am not animating anything for this movie, and I'm not going to be physically in the movie or even narrating the movie. So basically you're seeing the most of me right now that you're going to see for this film. Hopefully my creative voice will come through in the editing and putting together of the film. But this film is going to be about the creators behind Batman the Animated Series and exclusively about them. Britt says, you must be making one hell of a list if you're wanting to take a nap before checking off things on that list. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That's got to be a crazy list if it's making you tired enough to nap. Or maybe the things on that list are just really big things. Like if piece number 1 of make a list was, I don't know, finish making this list, it's a little bit meta. That wouldn't be too tiring. But if thing number one was like run a marathon, okay, well, then yeah, I think that would probably be an exhausting list. I think that's probably true. Yeah. So, hey, make sure you guys are checking on your friends who are dealing with intense weather situations this evening. Make sure everyone's doing okay. I would encourage people to not go outside because, you know, we all want you to be safe. And there were a ton of car accidents in the Austin and I think surrounding Texas areas today alone. So please be safe and stay off the roads. Hey, Mark Lemieux says, congrats, my friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Tabitha says, John says, hi, Phil. Hello, John. John is Tabitha's kiddo. Thank you for saying hi. Appreciate that. Shaggy asks me, so, Phil, will the next campaign be a GoFundMe when DC/Warner's lawyers rain down on you like Clayface rains down on Batman? LOL, I'm kidding. Oh, man, please don't kid about that. That terrifies me. Well, I'm actually kind of glad you made that joke because I will tell you that I have been doing the proper responsible steps on my end to be legally sound with this film. I'm not creating the film blindly. I am looking up all the things that I need to do to make sure that everything is on the level and that I don't step on anybody's toes. I definitely don't want to offend anybody at Warner or DC. Just so you guys know, because I've had people ask me a little bit about, the content of what I'm going to be doing. Is it going to be controversial? Is it going to be, I don't know, like unearthing some secrets or anything? It's like, no, I'm not doing anything like that. Simply telling the true stories that happened behind the scenes that many people just haven't had a chance to hear. But no one is being attacked and no one is being sought after, to be dishonored or anything like that. So no, everything is on the level. And trust me, if anything comes out in an interview that I think would probably be a bad idea to publicize, I'm going to leave it on the cutting room floor. But because this is not a corporate created film, I do think that's going to give me a little bit more leeway to do things that maybe would not have been done otherwise. Nothing bad or inappropriate, but there are just some choices that I will be making that will be very different than if I was working at a corporation. That's the nice thing about independent film is I'm independent. I can go ahead and decide what is the most important facts to put out there for you guys. I can tell you that already with the 2 interviews that I've done, I've learned new things about Batman the Animated Series I didn't even know about, which means there's a pretty good possibility you don't know about them either. And that's kind of exciting because, gosh, the idea of what if I'm breaking a news story in some way, or not breaking, but you know what I mean, I'm the first person to bring something to light publicly. That's a pretty exciting thing. I can't confirm if that's the case, but there's a possibility. So Britt is saying, just a fan request. You got to squeeze the Batman the Animated Series theme song somewhere in the documentary. Oh, well, I don't have to squeeze it in there. I will just simply place it in there. Interestingly enough, and I'll tell you right now that my plan, unless something changes between now and when the film comes out, my plan is to use music from the animated series the way I've been doing here in this live stream tonight, underscoring the film. That's my plan. I have had a pretty significant number of people who are composers reach out to me as a result of the Kickstarter campaign, and they've asked me if I would want to bring them on as a composer. And I have turned everybody down politely, not because I don't think that they're skilled or talented, but because I think the music from the animated series should be celebrated. And I don't think it gets celebrated nearly enough. And it was a major component in what made the show so beloved to begin with. So that's my plan. I'm not going to play huge stretches of music, just you can just sit there listening to the songs, because that's kind of really not an appropriate way to use it. But I do think it's appropriate to try to take it and like sort of mix it along with what the subject matter is at whatever the person's talking about. So I'm absolutely going to do that as best I can. And yeah. Mark Lemieux says, love this so much. Can't wait to see what you make here. So excited. Thank you, Mark. That means a great deal to me. I am honestly, besides being excited of making the film, just that excitement of just making it. Besides that, there is a very distinct part of me that is eager and excited to share it with you guys, the fans, and to hear your thoughts. I really hope to make you guys proud. So I'm going to do my darndest. Anthony DePaula, sorry, I said your name wrong. He says, proud of you, pal. Congrats on making your goal. Thank you so much, Anthony. You are definitely you were a huge share warrior on Twitter for sure. And thank you for being part of the campaign. So, and Mark is echoing my recent statement of the score is amazing. Yes, the score is amazing. It was done largely by the late, great, and very well missed Shirley Walker, but there were other composers involved as well. So, yeah, hopefully I'll find a way to talk about all those things in the film too. Well, here we are at the 30-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen, and I was thinking of going a full hour, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. It depends on if I run out of things to talk to you about. Shaggy says, sorry, Phil, going to kidnap the show for a second. Everyone wish Mark Lemieux a happy birthday. Oh, that's okay. Do not apologize. Mark Lemieux, happy birthday, buddy. I've got your name on screen right there. Mark Lemieux. Happy birthday, Mark Lemieux. We should all sing happy birthday. I'm not sure if that would actually work on here, though. Britt says, congratulations again, Phil. Sorry, I was a last-minute sharer. Hey, Britt, I appreciate it. Don't worry about apologizing. I will tell you that one of the most difficult things I think that the Kickstarter presented to me was the realization that while every day I was dealing with how do I get this out there, there were people who just weren't seeing it due to the algorithm on Facebook or other social media platforms, or maybe they were taking a break from Facebook or other social media. So the answer is it was a challenge every day, because I would have people asking me seemingly out of nowhere, what is this thing you're talking about, man? And I was like, really? Talking about it every day, and I'm getting people asking me. It was kind of a challenge, I'm not going to lie. Look at all the birthday wishes we've got. We got Mark saying thank you so much. We got Britt saying happy birthday, Mark. Tabitha saying happy birthday. The No Good Nick saying happy birthday, Mark. Mark, how's it feel turning 30, my friend? How's it feel? You like turning 30? I know it's a real big one, right? This is like the big 3-0. It's you can thank me later. Stevie is saying happy birthday with a little red balloon. Stevie, too bad you didn't put a little 99X next to that red balloon. 99 red balloons. Mark, I wish. It's all right, buddy. You'll be 30 in my eyes. That's all that matters. You don't have to impress anybody else. Don't worry about it. So what are you guys, or I should say, who are you guys looking forward to seeing in the film based on the list that I had listed on the Kickstarter page. Was there anybody in particular that you were excited to hear from? I'm just curious. Just curious about that. Shaggy says, dang it, Phil beat me to the joke again. Oh, it happens, man. It happens. Mark says, much love to you. Much love to you back, birthday boy. This one's for you, buddy. Yeah, I'm curious. What are you guys looking forward to most? Is there anything that you're hoping gets talked about, or any particular person that you're hoping to hear from, or I guess is there some? I mean, aside from Mark Hamill, everybody's made that pretty clear. I'm just curious what you guys are looking forward to in particular, and yeah, I think I might be. I think that might be the end of my list of things I was going to talk to you guys about, actually. Yeah, we got a Mark Hamill, of course. Mark Lemieux says Mark Hamill. That's real original Mark. Mark's got a soft spot for Marks. Yeah, X marks the spot. Yeah, I'm going to get some water. I'm going to get some water out of my Batman cup is what I'm going to do. Mark appreciates that joke. He says, oh, sorry. I love that Joker. Love that Joker. Chris Trotter says, I want to know about scripts and stories they didn't use and why. Oh, Chris Trotter, it's like you're reading my mind. Or it's like I planted you in the audience to say that. I didn't. But it's like that. One of the interviews I've already conducted reveals the name of a script and the plot of a script that was considered too intense for children's television. And yes, I did get that information recorded. So, yes, I do plan on putting that in the film. Yes. Britt says, I'm looking forward to hearing from the animators and scriptwriters when it came to coming up with the ideas for each episode. That's excellent. That is exactly the kind of thing that I am diving into with everyone, which is great. I'm happy to tell you that is a thing that's going to happen. So that's very good to know. Jen Quinn. Am I saying it right? Jen Quinn. Also, I think I know who that is. I think, but I'm not going to assume that I know who it is. But I'm pretty sure I know who it is. But anyway, Jen Quinn says, anything if there's going to be another series connecting to the animated series and beyond series. Anything if there's going to be another series connecting to the animated series and beyond. You mean like referring to Batman Beyond? Or are you referring to... I need you to specify that a little bit more. I'm kind of not following you. Britt says, I'm looking forward to hearing from... Oh, I already read that. Sorry. Shaggy said, I want to know why they went to the Red Sky, because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles also went Red Sky almost the same year. That's a really specific design question. Maybe I can find that out. Allison Cole says, Mark Hamill. Yeah, I'm gonna try. You have to understand, some of these folks are harder to reach than others. Chris Trotter says, how did they decide on the character's look for the series? Well, I can probably tell you right now, a lot of that, I believe, had to do with Bruce Timm, as far as I know, for the character designs. But I know that there were some characters that were designed by people like Mike Mignola, who designed Mr. Freeze. So I think it was a variety of individuals, but there might be more information about that in this film. Mark Lemieux says, art department for character design and series design. Yep, I'm sure we'll talk about that. The No Goodnick says, I'm just looking for how they feel making such important changes to the lore of Batman, i.e. Harley Quinn and Mr. Freeze, etc. Yeah, well, that is absolutely a topic of conversation that comes up. In fact, there's a pretty big section of interview that I've already conducted dedicated to one Harleen Quinzel. So, yes, that will be discussed for sure. Britt says, Red Sky for a dramatic effect. Dramatic effect. Jen Quinn, the Batman animated series and Batman Beyond, where we see Bruce reaching to the point near the Batman Beyond point. Yeah, absolutely. I could see that coming up. I didn't have specific plans to go too much into Batman Beyond or any like Justice League stuff or Superman the animated series. I didn't have too much planned because there's already so much here. I suppose I could save those things for another film. Possibly. I'm not going to make any promises right now. Shaggy says, whoa, Mignola designed Mr. Freeze? Yeah, that was revealed in, I want to say, the Heart of Batman documentary that Warner Brothers put out about a year and a half ago. I want to say they talked about bringing Mignola on for that. Pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure. I'm actually more than 99% sure, but I'm not sure which film I saw it in, if that makes any sense. Mark Lemieux loves Harley. Yeah, he does. Allison Cole. Will there be a lead in to the making of The Killing Joke? There's certainly, we could talk about The Killing Joke. Yeah, that's a really, I think if anything will get touched on as far as the direct-to-video animated films. Probably more attention will be paid to Sub-Zero, which is the Batman and Mr. Freeze movie, Mask of the Phantasm, and possibly Mystery of the Catwoman. I'm sorry, Mystery of the Batwoman. Sorry. And then possibly Batman Harley Quinn. Because the 4 films I just listed are all considered in universe. They are all in the Batman the Animated Series universe, those 4 movies. And I believe that Batman Beyond the Return of the Joker is considered that way as well. But the point is, The Killing Joke, I don't believe is canon for Batman the Animated Series. Yes, it had similar voice actors, or the same voice actors, but I don't believe it's considered to be part of that same universe. Mad Love, says Mark Lemieux. Yeah, we'll probably talk about Mad Love. That's a season 4 episode based on a really great Paul Dini and Bruce Timm comic book, for sure. Tabitha says, I am partial to Poison Ivy, as you should be. Shaggy says, what about Mask of the Phantasm, or will that be its own future documentary? No. We are going to talk about Mask of the Phantasm. I will confirm that right now. Mask of the Phantasm does get talked about in the documentary. Yes. It's already happened in the interviews I've conducted. It's already been part of the topic of conversation. So, yes, Mask of the Phantasm will be included in this film. The No Good Nick says, love me some Mask of the Phantasm. Yes. And there may even be some discussion of what would have happened if Mask of the Phantasm would have been a different movie, because there were multiple pitches for what movie were they going to put together. Mask of the Phantasm won out, but that does not mean it was the only choice. And that's all I'll say about that. That is all I will say about that. At this point in time, at the 3/4 mark, I would like to thank you guys for all of your thumbs up, your hearts, for sharing this, for watching it on all of the different locations available to watch. Just a little bit of housekeeping really quick. I want to go back over some of the things I mentioned earlier, okay? For those of you that may be joining late or have forgotten what I've said already. Takeaways from this video. First of all, thank you to everybody for being amazing and helping get this Kickstarter fully funded by midnight last night. Thank you once again. Second of all, if you want to be in the know of what's going on with this film, you can keep following along on the update section of the Kickstarter page for this film. There's no more fundraising going on that Kickstarter page. It is simply a place where you can go for updates, and you can view everything that was there during the Kickstarter. The next item I want to reiterate is, if you'd like to be part of my newsletter, when I email people an artist newsletter, just go to philmaki.com, look at the menu bar, click on news, and you'll be able to figure it out from there. I have every confidence in you. And for even further information about stuff that I'm working on, more details and things like that, please head over to patreon.com/philmaki. You can follow me there for free. I do post some of my updates freely, but if you do become a paying member, you will get additional perks and things like that. Basically, you'll find out about stuff way early. You'll get video access to things that people don't usually get video access to, like I'll do a once a month, occasionally I do a once a month video like this one, where I'll tell you what's going on behind the scenes, and it's only available to patrons. And lastly, there will be a mini store. I'm going to set up a mini store on my website, so if you missed out on any of the rewards that were on the Kickstarter page, I'm going to give you guys another chance to get them, and you can just buy them flat out. You don't have to worry about pledging a certain amount or anything. You can just buy the stuff flat out. So let's go back to some more of your comments here. The No Good Nick says, "Good tease, Phil." Thanks, No Good Nick. I tried. Brit says, "Is Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles part of the animated series?" No, that is its own separate spinoff. As far as I know, the only films that are considered part of the animated series are Mask of the Phantasm, Batman Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, Batman Harley Quinn, and Batman Mystery of the Batwoman. The other films that are in the universe, and I say that because they weren't really films. Some of them were like just 3 episodes that they strung together and they called it a film. Was World's Finest, and World's Finest was a Batman Superman crossover. Star-Crossed, that's another one. That's a Justice League one. I think it was called Justice League Star-Crossed. Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, I believe, is also considered canon. Maybe. I say maybe because it's like an alternate future. So, is it really canon? Maybe. You know. Allison Cole asks, "What's your favorite episode?" I love that question, and I wish I had an answer for you. I don't have a favorite. I don't. There's too many that I love. Too many. I wouldn't even be able to tell you. But I will tell you that a lot of the ones that I love were directed by Kevin Altieri. And so I will say, what's the name of it? What's the one of it? Oh, hold on. I'm drawing a blank on names at the moment. Oh, well, first of all, Two-Face. Two-Face is one of the best episodes there is. But was it his Silicon Soul? Let me get my episode list. Heart of Steel. Heart of Steel is one of my favorites. Such a good episode. Heart of Steel is really great. And I don't have all the episode titles memorized, but Over the Edge. Over the Edge is one of my favorite episodes. Now, that's a season 4 episode that has to do with Batgirl dying at the hands of Scarecrow, and that is, for my money, one of the best episodes of the entire series. So, Over the Edge, if you haven't watched it, watch it. Will I be covering the art change? Yes. Shaggy says, if you can find out why they switched to the red sky, I would love to know. It's literally bugged me for decades. I don't know that they switched to a red sky, Andy. It wasn't red all the time, at least not that I can recall. I don't think it became permanently red. Oh, you mean in the season 4 stuff? Oh, well, that kind of goes into what Mark was asking about. Will I be covering the art change? That's probably part of the art change, and yeah, I'll see if I can figure that out. Mark says the change that happened along with the Superman animated series. Yeah, it was called the New Batman Adventures was when they did that. Yes. Mark says no one teases like Phil. Thanks, guys. Shaggy says I have all those films except Batman Harley Quinn. Andy, I will tell you right now, Batman Harley Quinn, not their finest hour. I do own it. It has its moments. I wouldn't say it's the best example. We'll just say that. Britt says Return of the Joker is freaking awesome. Yes, it is. Beware the Gray Ghost, says Mark Lemieux. Dude, the Gray Ghost, thank you for reminding me. That is one of the best episodes. Hands down, that's one of the best episodes. I Am the Night. I Am the Night is another really great episode if you guys haven't seen that one. Really, really great. Feet of Clay is another personal favorite, and Britt says Clayface's episode is really good. Yes, that is Feet of Clay, if you're referring to his origin story. And yes, Feet of Clay Part 2 in particular is a personal favorite. Also directed by Kevin Altieri, by the way, who will be greatly featured in this film. Greatly featured. Shaggy says, one of my favorite villains that was not a main villain was Hardak. Me too, Andy. Me too. And Hardak was a part of the episodes, the one I mentioned earlier, his Silicon Soul, and what did I say it was called? Steel, Heart of Steel. Yeah, Heart of Steel. Heart of Steel and his Silicon Soul featured Hardak. So absolutely, big fan of all of that. And let me really quick answer this email that I have to my guest for tomorrow morning. That was my phone number. I will provide a Zoom link maybe an hour before we meet. And I will also include a Batman background image for you to keep everything in theme. There we go. I've got my interview person for tomorrow. Literally, as we are having this conversation, we are making plans for tomorrow morning's interview. So after tomorrow morning, I will have a third interview. Now that you know, see, this is all that was holding me back. I just needed to get the funding done. And as soon as the funding got done, it is off to the races. Tabitha says, look at him teasing us about these mystery guests. Well, Tabitha, yes. Hey, Mark Childs is here. We making a movie, he say, with a little clapperboard. Clap, clap. Yes, Mark. Movie is being made. Britt says, the one episode I thought was a bit odd when I was a kid and didn't really get to watch all the way through was the Time Master. Are you referring to the Clock King? Temple Fugit? Is that what you're talking about? You better not be throwing shade at Temple Fugit. I love Temple Fugit. That character is awesome. Clock King is great. Mark Goldner's here. Thank me for all my hard work. Mark, thank you for all your hard work. Mark was also a really big proponent of sharing. He was one of my share warrior guys. Also was a backer of the film. So thank you so much, Mark, for being awesome. And yes, Britt, Clock King. Clock King is awesome. I love Clock King. Definitely watch The Clock King. Also a Kevin Altieri episode, I might add. The Clock King is. a Kevin Altieri directed episode. Really, really great episode. You never got to watch all of it, she says. Oh, okay. Well, definitely watch all of it. Clock King does make a return appearance. Again, if you don't already have a subscription to HBO Max, you can do it for free, I think, for the first month. Am I wrong? Can somebody confirm? Can you get HBO Max free for a month? I think you can. But yeah, I mean, I would say try seeing if you like HBO Max. The entire animated series for Batman is on and streaming on HBO Max. Now, personally, I have the animated series on Blu-ray, and I would also suggest you guys go pick up the Blu-ray. But that's I think like $60 right now at like Target. So you can go to Target, or I think Best Buy has it. Typically, it's about $60. So really worth owning, honestly. I think it's worth owning. And then if you own the animated series on Blu-ray, here's the great part. If you lose your internet connection, your discs still work. Mark says, you know what would be cool? Doing a live stream with some guests and backers on Clubhouse discussing the pilot of your favorite episode, or the pilot or your favorite episode. Oh, that could be really fun. Yes, I do have the Clubhouse app, Mark. I haven't really utilized it yet, but I do have it. I am a Clubhouse carrying member. It's not really how that works. But you know what? I'll keep that in mind. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do something like that. And thank you for the suggestion. Batman the Animated Series Riddler is my favorite version of Riddler. Sorry, Mr. Gorshin and Mr. Aston. Shaggy, I'm inclined to agree. You also have to say you're sorry to Jim Carrey, right? Because that would be another version that played Riddler, another actor that played Riddler. My favorite Riddler is also from the animated series. Absolutely. Although I will say, Riddler from the Gotham live-action TV show from a couple years ago, I really liked that version of Riddler also. So, not animated, but I thought that was a great version of Riddler. I will have to admit that. Yeah. So, I was going to read something and I lost it, and that's okay. Oh, I guess what I was going to say was, if you guys do have, further questions and want to interact beyond tonight, you can always find me on social media. You guys know how to do that. There's a comments section of, I believe, of the Kickstarter page. You can still go make comments. You can, if you end up becoming part of the Patreon community, and again, you can follow my page for free on Patreon. There is a way to interact with the things that I post. You can write comments. You can talk to each other there. So if you'd like to keep interacting with each other, if you guys are, feeling like there's some Batman camaraderie that is formed between any of you, those are some great ways that you can do some community building stuff. I do want to also point out before we run out of time, the Stay Tuned community page on Facebook. It's been growing. It's past 500 members. I think past 550 at this point, if I'm not mistaken. I try to post animated news there several times a week, and there's quite the community forming there as well. So if you're a fan of all things animated, go to Facebook and search out the Stay Tuned community page. Of course, if you need help finding it, just let me know. But yeah, where's the? Here we go. Shaggy says, I like Mr. Carey, but not his Riddler. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Mark Lemieux says, love the Riddler from Gotham. Yes. Shaggy also liked the Riddler from Gotham because he was so much like the Batman the Animated Series Riddler. Yes, he was. I agree. Jen Quinn says, thank you for your hard work and good luck. Thank you too, Jen Quinn. Thanks for being here. I'll be wrapping it up in the next 30 seconds now. Shaggy says, woohoo, Stay Tuned is growing. Yes, thank you. I do appreciate that. And Britt says, not going to lie, I had quite a crush on the Riddler from the live-action Gotham series. He was crazy, but damn, that smile. Well, I got nothing to say about that other than they picked the right guy, didn't they? So anyway, it's been an hour. We are wrapping up here at 2 minutes to 8 o'clock Central Time. If you have any closing questions or comments, throw them in the chat right now, and I'll try to get to them in the next 60 seconds. Otherwise, let me wrap everything up by saying thank you yet again to everyone who shared the Kickstarter campaign, everyone who pledged in the Kickstarter campaign, everybody who pledged additionally later in the Kickstarter campaign, because there were some of you that upped your pledges, and that's really very generous and very appreciated. Just keep watching, guys. I will do my best to keep you all in the loop as the film gets made in all the different ways I spoke about at this hour, and I will let you know when the pop-up shop, the mini shop, when it goes live on my website. So if you missed any of the Kickstarter rewards and you want to try to get some of them, maybe you didn't get a t-shirt, maybe you didn't get the microfiber cleaning cloth, which I thought was kind of cool. If you still want to get those things, I'll try to find a way to make them happen real soon here. Thank you, Allison. Appreciate that. Mark says, thanks again for doing this, Phil. So excited. Thank you, Mark, for being such an awesome supporter and, of course, a fellow fan of Batman the Animated Series. Thank you, Tabitha. Thanks for the congrats. And thank you, the No Good Nick. Appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, guys. Everyone who's here tonight, Shaggy and Jen Quinn and Mark Lemieux and Britt and just not Britain, Britt and. All right, guys, I am going to call it here. Have a great rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay warm, and tell some people that you care about them, because everyone needs to hear it. I promise you. Good night.